Roxo Media House.
Final minute and 30 seconds of the game.
You had 15 in the first half, 7 so far in the second, and here we go. Back in the zone, protect. Poles has been efficient at the elbow. Inside to Miles, and you nailed it.
You are in the State of the Frogs with head coach Jamie Dixon. Brought to you by Railhead Smokehouse, Hub International, Dave's Hot Chicken, by Texas Health Resources, the Flying Tea Club, and by Cadillac. Now with the head coach, here is the voice of the Frogs, Brian Estridge.
Welcome into State of the Frogs this week as the Horned Frogs, number 22 in the country, and the latest poll coming off that big win on the road against the Texas Tech Red Raiders. We're going to talk about that matchup, look ahead to what the week is like for the Horned Frogs. You got Texas coming to town on Wednesday, wrap it up on the road on Saturday with Oklahoma. The head coach Jamie Dixon is alongside. Got win number 19 on the road against Texas Tech in a hard-fought back-and-forth game in a tough place to play. How about those free throws by Jacoby Coles?
Yeah, no, and we made free throws in that game, didn't make them the game before, and all of a sudden there's the difference. You work on all these things, scouting reports, how we just make some free throws down the stretch. So happy for him. He was clutch. Played the 5 for us the whole game. We know he's going to give us more scoring because he's a hard matchup for those 5 men. Can he give us the rebounding and the defense? And he gave us just enough. But it was, I want him in the game because for foul purposes, or he's going to score around the basket. He can step out and shoot it. But it's just huge. Great pass from Emmanuel. We knew. That last play, since we're talking about it, they fouled Mike on the one because they had fouls to give and still had another to give. And so we called timeout. And rather than go to Mike, which we thought they were thinking of, we said we ran, and Coach McNeely pointed it out, agree with him, let's go right inside so they can't foul right away. And that's where we were able to go inside, and I think caught him off guard. And Manuel made a good pass to Jacoby.
They didn't take the timeout late. You were able still to defend it, force them into a really tough shot,
we subbed Jacoby out, got Xavier in. I always like to get the defense ready. I'd rather have the defense ready, and so there's no mistakes. And really, Emmanuel did a great job on the funnel, and Damian did a pretty good job too. So, there's been some guys hit some shots, and you saw some this weekend, crazy shots at the end. But we guarded that one pretty well, and he didn't really have a good look, but I've had some guys make a shot like that too now.
All right, let's talk about some individuals because this to me was a total team effort. Let's start with Mike Miles because I thought after the game you made a great point when you said, hey, we had Mike out there, but Mike's back. Now it takes a couple of games to get in flow.
Yeah, no, you can't be out that much and then get back in it. So he shot it well. His shot selection was good, and we were just better. We really were disappointed in our last game is we didn't defended well enough. Our shot selection was good enough. Our offense, for whatever reason, we just didn't make good decisions, and we did in this game, Texas Tech, and that's what I was so excited about our guys. We shot 49%, which is a good number on the road against a good defensive team, and then only 10 turnovers, and then we make our free throws, and so offensively, very efficient game. But it was our shot selection. We didn't take a bad shot. We were patient, and we got good shots, and still 83 points on the road. Pretty hard to do.
Very unselfish with the basketball. Maybe the key to that. I know people are going to look at it and say, well, he didn't score, but the 9 assists from Damian Ball were huge.
Oh, no, it sets the tone for us, and I think that got back to where we were prior to the last game. It was just his decision-making, hitting open guys, getting in rhythm. I thought our ball movement was really good. We ran we limited our offenses. We stayed with 2 different looks, really, and they were effective. And we continued to get good shots, inside touches, paint touches, and I think it broke down the defense. And, again, 83 points in a game like that. Would have liked to have got to the foul line more, but we knocked them down when we did, and that was key.
Speaking of those paint touches, I thought Xavier Cork was efficient when he got it inside.
We got 25 points with obviously Eddie out, we have Rondell out, we have Sully out, so we have 2 of our 5 men out, and we had 25 points from that spot.
Not bad.
And Jacoby and Xavier, and efficient, 5 for 5 for Xavier. So, offensively, I was very happy with what we did defensively. Now we got some things to get better at.
We did it again, Coach. Post-game, we talked about what all went on in that game, and it took us about 3.5 minutes to get to a double-double from Emmanuel Miller.
Yeah, right.
We just did it again.
Yeah, no, he was, the pass, obviously, so we talked about that, and defensively what he did, but the 12 rebounds, and we think that couple things we haven't done is offensive rebounding at the rate we should, and we did that last against at Lubbock, and Manuel's a big part of that. And we're asking him to do a lot of things: guard and play on the perimeter, or get offensive rebounds, and do a lot of things, and get out run in transition. But you want to be at that improve. You want to play at that next level. You want to expand your game. Well, you can't take away from what you do well in offensive rebounding. He's one of the best in the country.
And I don't know that folks realize how difficult of a place it is to play out in Lubbock and to win on the road like that with a team that was in desperation mode. Yeah. They still had postseason hopes.
Oh yeah, no, and they still do. Because you're going to get opportunities in our league. But they're a very good team. Obviously, had one injury, and they struggled at the start.
Yep.
They get the big guy back, and now they're a better team. They'd won 4 in a row. That's all you need to know. So we went and beat a team 4 in a row that needed a win. We got it done, and we were undermanned. Really, 3 guys out. That's hard to do.
Hard to do. Yes. All right. Coming up next, the Horned Frogs on Wednesday get set to take on the Texas Longhorns and close it out on the regular season against Oklahoma. We'll talk about those 2 games. Also, look ahead to what postseason looks like for the Horned Frogs. We'll do that a little bit later on when Coach Dixon rejoins us here on State of the Frogs.
For exclusive interviews and content on TCU recruits, subscribe now at frogstoday.com. Any sport, anytime. It's your source for all things TCU. Only on frogstoday.com.
Simply the best barbecue in Fort Worth. Dine in, catering, or drive-through. 2900 Montgomery, just off I-30. Remember, the best barbecue in Fort Worth is at Railhead Smokehouse.
The Flying T Club provides the everyday TCU fan and alum the ability to specifically support TCU student athletes. Flying T Club offers 3 levels of memberships. The Flying T Club is a nonprofit organization supporting the brand development of TCU student athletes through a series of unique event-based networking opportunities, which are exclusive to our members. These events provide a great social engagement tool for our members and student athletes alike. Follow them on Instagram at Flying T Club or online at flyingtclub.com.
Welcome back into State of the Frogs here today. Coach Jamie Dixon will be by a little bit later on, plus our one-play breakdown, Bingo Merriex from the Flying T Club studios coming up right now. Though we get to visit one of our good guys here. Shahada Wells is with us from Amarillo, Tascosa High School, right?
Yes, sir.
I got it, yes. Here in Fort Worth now at TCU. And I tell you what, you have you're the perfect example of making the most of the situation. Your minutes exploded middle part of the year, and I felt like you proved what kind of player you were. Was that the objective, obviously, going in?
Since last year, that was the objective. Coach knew I could play, but I just had to, like he said, we got to show him what we could do. So I showed him, and he just increased my minutes and started letting me play more.
Yeah, last year you had to battle through the injury situation too, and I know that was hard on you. And this year, obviously, getting the opportunity. What was that like mentally, not being able to play with your guys?
I felt I didn't help them out. I felt me getting hurt was just a loss for the team. They needed another guard to just help Mike, help Damian, assist, points. And this year, I just felt I'm a big help to the team.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about that because your assist to turnover numbers are solid right now. You're shooting the ball well. The thing I love about your game, though, is you're not afraid to go to the rim either, are you?
Oh, yes, sir. Being so small, I mean, like you said earlier, I play big, so.
Yeah. Like that right there, man.
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
That's on the way up, too, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's not at the high point there.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
that's on the way up. But you, on the fast break, the one thing that TCU does right now, leads the country in fast break points. One of the things I think separates you is you don't settle for the 3. You know, a lot of teams will, on a fast break, they try to get to the perimeter, shoot the 3, percentage is not very good. You guys want to get to the rim, don't you?
Yes, sir. We haven't been shooting as many free throws, but getting to the rim, getting fouled. Our three-point percentage haven't been as good as we want it to be, so we just try to attack the basket and at least get fouled or try to finish at the rim.
You guys spent a lot of time in the offseason working on the fast break, didn't you? Was that just drills? Was that just in the gym? You guys just trying to push the tempo?
Yes, sir. Like Coach said, we're faster than most teams, so us getting out, me, Ball, Damian, E-Man, Chuck, us just all running and getting a fast break transition points are good for the team.
Then go live in the weight room, right? You can try to get bigger.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit here and
Yes,
there.
sir.
I like it. So you go to Texas Tech, you get the win. Out in West Texas, where you're from, how'd that feel?
It was good. I had a big crowd come see me and support me, so it felt good just getting the win. They were proud of me. So
I was trying to figure out who had more people there, you or Coach Benford.
I don't know. He said he had about 30. I had about 30, but I think I got him.
Okay, good. As long as you took them, but that's a hard place to play, and to get a win like that, that's got to boost the confidence of this team.
Yes, sir. We were on a slope. We were going downhill, but now we figured it out. We're playing together. We're passing. We're shooting well. So now from here on out, we just got to keep it going.
You know, one of the things that Coach has talked about in that last game against Kansas is you guys felt like you let the crowd down. You had a great crowd here for that game. You get another opportunity on Wednesday against Texas. Are you guys even talking about that, thinking about it?
We're thinking about it. We talked about it in the locker room. We kind of start feeling ourselves. People start me, shots after shot. So we just got to play as a team, man, to keep this thing going.
Yeah. All right, you got Texas on Wednesday, then you got obviously Oklahoma on Saturday. Then all of a sudden we're in March Madness.
March Madness.
Yeah. You feel like this team's set for a deep run?
Yes, sir. Just like last year, we felt we could have something special. This year, we still feel that way. So I hope we just continue to keep growing and just playing as a team.
Ada, you started your career at UTA and then arrived here at TCU. Tell me that process when you were leaving UTA and how you decided on the Horned Frogs.
How I decided, it was just I like I told Coach, I just wanted to feel like a family. Wherever I went, I wanted to play, and I wanted to feel like I was loved and that Coach wanted me to be here. So Coach Dixon called me every day, Coach Broussard, Benford, they called me every day, and it was just like they just wanted me to be here, and it felt like family to me.
That's awesome, man. So when basketball's over, and let's hope that goes for a long time, man.
Yes, sir.
What do you want to do? Do you know yet?
Something with real estate.
Really?
Yes, sir.
I like that, man. You know, they're not making any more land, so, you know, land will always be valuable.
Yes, sir.
I like that idea. What are you into outside of hoops?
I play the game a lot.
Yeah.
I like traveling when I can.
Yeah? What's the coolest place you've been to?
I like Vegas.
Vegas is good. Hard to beat Vegas, man.
Yes.
And remember what happens in Vegas?
Stays in Vegas.
It stays in Vegas. That's
Yes,
right.
sir.
Shahada, thanks for coming by.
Thank you, my man.
Good to see you. All right, Shahada Wells joining us here from Amarillo. And coming up next, we've got our one-play breakdown. Bingo's got that breakdown for you next. With State of the Frogs, with head coach Jamie Dixon continues after this timeout.
This is Cowtown Headache Center, a neurology clinic that specializes in headache medicine. We offer standard oral medications, we offer trigger point injections, we offer multiple nerve blocks, we offer infusions both for prevention medication and for acute relief. My name is Andrew Levere. I'm a physician assistant that has a special certification from the National Headache Foundation in headache medicine. Patients are pretty shocked when I tell them we have tons of options for them and that we can do better than what they're doing. I don't just tell you, here's one medicine we're going to try. I'll give them options, and then ultimately we choose together as the provider and patient. It's very satisfying to know that we're changing people's lives.
Texas-based Happy Water offers the best-tasting, sugar-free kids drink ever made. Happy Water comes in 4 delicious flavors that you can find at local retailers and on Amazon. Each pouch contains 0 grams of sugar, 0 calories, and 0% juice. Head to happydrinks.com for more information and to purchase Happy Water. That's HAPIDrinks.com. Live happy, be happy, drink happy. Say hello to the water of tomorrow. Richard's Rainwater. Richard's Rainwater is 100% rain, refreshing, renewable, and the only ingredient we use in our water. Why rain? Because everyone deserves access to clean water, and rain is a 100% renewable resource available everywhere. Drink the rain. Save the planet. Shop now at richardsrainwater.com.
State of the Frogs continues. We hop back into the Flying T Club studios right now. Jamie Dixon's going to be along a little bit later on, but right now Bingo Merriex with the Bingo Breakdown right now. We're going to break down one play. Let's go back to that Texas Tech game. We've been talking a lot about it, Bingo. And the end-of-game execution for TCU was as good as it's been. I mean, you think about it down the stretch Frogs get a dunk from Mike Miles late. You have to run a play on an out of bounds because they had a foul to give. You get it where you want it. Jacoby Coles makes a couple of free throws. You defend at the last second. I mean, it couldn't have gone any better, could it?
It couldn't have gone any better because the Frogs, they stuck to the script. And that's what they're doing better, going down the stretch, getting into postseason play. That's how the good teams turn into great teams. The Frogs, they executed. They shot free throws better, 84%, and it ended up in a win for them against Texas Tech.
How much of that do you credit now a healthy Mike Miles being back out there?
Definitely, it credits to just what a difference a Mike makes.
Yeah.
As far as having him out there, it eases everybody. I know it eases Coach Dixon and the coaching staff to have their best player out there and their best performer. And then I know with the guys, because he's a leader, he leads by example. So his scoring, just his energy, and just how he gets guys involved, they needed that out there, and they were missing that for the 4 or 5 games he was out.
All right, so Mike gets that dunk, and that's one of the things you talked about last week was spacing on the floor, running the baseline for Mike Miles. Those have been important for him all year.
It's been very important, and you can see he's getting his rhythm back.
Yeah.
And I think, those first few games that he came back, that was his second game back against Kansas, his rhythm wasn't quite back yet, as far as just the fatigueness and just the play of the game, the impact of the game. When you've been out for a while, a lot of that excitement, a lot of the crowd being there, that can get your wind going a little bit. So him backdooring as far as it wasn't as crisp as you've seen against Texas Tech when he came through, broke down, got up pretty high too for that dunk.
Yes, he did. All right, Texas Tech has 4 fouls as a team at this point. Late in game, TCU is down 1. So smart move on their part to foul right away. So they foul. And then you got the out-of-bounds play coming side out of bounds opposite the bench.
Right.
We're going to play this and let folks see how it plays out, because you thought this was a really smart move on Coach Dixon's part early on in this play. All right, here's the video right now.
A basket here, and that could change everything. Coles inside. And a foul was called.
So what happens there is they go to the post almost immediately. Why are they doing that?
Well, you got to think about TCU's transition. When they're coming down in transition, a lot of times they're trying to pitch the ball ahead. So when they pitch the ball ahead, if they're not able to attack, a lot of times TCU, their forwards are so good at turning their back to the basket. So you take the transition out, now we're in the half court. So now we're trying to get the ball inside because we know they're going to foul quickly. So I'm right by the basket, so Tech doesn't want to foul and give up an and one. So now they're trying to have their hands out, and what they were able to do when they collapsed on E-Man, Jacoby Coles did a smart thing, cut to the basket, and they had to foul because he had a layup if they didn't foul him.
Yeah, so smart move to throw it into the post immediately. That eliminates the foul.
Right.
So Tech's not going to do it. All right, let's draw it up here. Show us what you've got here so far.
Okay, so what we have here, we had E-Man coming down, and he was in the post.
Yeah.
So we already have him in the post right here, and we're all spaced out. We want to give E-Man space to work because he's definitely great in the post. He has that NBA body build already.
Yeah.
So a lot of teams, if you don't help on him, he's able to play one-on-one, and he's athletic enough to go right up over his defender and shoot. Because the time is running down, Texas Tech is panicking because they don't want him to get a clean shot. So let's double him, see if we can have our hands up, crowd his vision. But TCU is a great passing team.
Yes.
They have all their big men are great passers. Their forwards are good passers. So they spaced the floor out really well, had the spacing on the floor to give E-Man room to work. Texas Tech, they came and double teamed him right here in the post, which was a good double team for sure. But Jacoby Coles, he was having a great game, was having a great year also. He dove to the basket. E-Man made a great pass. So now you got the defense shifting again, as we always talk about. So what Texas Tech is looking at is that Jacoby Coles, he's right by the basket. If we don't foul him, he's going to make a layup. So they do a hard foul, send him to the line, he's a great free throw shooter, knock down 2 free throws, TCU wins the game.
Here's the other thing that they did well here is the fact that you had 2 of your better three-point shooters spaced. And so the defense couldn't cheat, right?
Right.
Because you purposely almost used Mike Miles as a decoy there.
Right.
And that's what Coach Dixon talked about. We knew that they thought Mike was going to get it. They'd try to foul Mike.
Right.
So we'll send him way out on the perimeter.
Right.
And that keeps a defender or 2 possibly away from him, right?
And that's the good thing about TCU is that, okay, they depend on Mike to do a lot of the scoring.
Yeah.
But every man is ready to step up. So using Mike as a decoy, you have Chuck O'Bannon, you have Mike Peavy, you have Damian Ball, and in this case, it was Jacoby Coles and Emmanuel Miller they were playing the two-man game, diving to the basket, and TCU is a great finishing team around the basket because 1 through 5, as we talk about all the time, is really athletic and can get above the rim.
And I think Jacoby's getting more comfortable playing the 5. You sense that also?
I definitely sense that, and I sense that he's being more physical, the physicality of the matter, because at first he wasn't used to playing that much because he was playing on the wing, jab steps, rip through, going to the basket. Now having to bang more in the post, be more physical, he's learning how to be physical, and I'm pretty sure Gary Christopher is getting him in the weight room more.
I'm pretty sure about that too. All right, so after this, Jacoby makes the 2 free throws. Big difference in this ball game. What's the Frogs at the line too?
Definitely. The Frogs shot 61% against Kansas.
Right.
Now against Texas Tech, they shoot 84%. So that is definitely a big difference, making free throws down the stretch, and this is how they got the win.
Got to finish this game out. Were you Frogs up 1 at this point? Tech had a timeout. Were you surprised they didn't take it?
I was very surprised because they still had about 3 seconds left maybe to draw up a play or try to get a better shot.
Yeah.
The thing I like about TCU is what they did, because if you think Iowa State, when Iowa State was at TCU, it's kind of the same kind of matter. Iowa State made the 3-point to go ahead to win the game. What TCU did a good job is not fouling, making sure we had a hand up and just kind of crowd his vision just a little bit to not get a good look.
Which is good because Coach Dixon had just talked about the fact that, when you're in scramble mode, sometimes it's easier to play offense in scramble mode than defense. And so to be able to cut him off, force that hard shot with guys in his face but not fouling, that was huge.
It was very huge because you think about the play with Texas Tech, they had to foul. They had to foul Jacoby Coles. TCU didn't go into panic. We're just going to crowd you. We're just going to stay around, and we're not going to give the ref a chance to call this game. We just called our hands up, challenged the shot. It was a tough shot from long.
And it didn't go.
Fortunately,
the Frogs get the win on the road at Texas Tech. Frogs had lost 7 straight there under Jamie Dixon, so a good win for TCU against Texas Tech. We got more to come here. Thank you for Bingo to Bingo's breakdown there. We've got more with the head coach, Jamie Dixon. We'll start to preview the Frogs and Oklahoma on Saturday. We'll do that when State of the Frogs continues after this time out. Welcome back into State of the Frogs with the head coach, Jamie Dixon. All right, we're going to look ahead to what the next week looks like for TCU. And let's start with Wednesday night, Coach. You got Texas coming here for an 8 o'clock tip-off. This is a good basketball team, number 9 in the country in the latest poll, 22-7 overall. It's a talented basketball team with 11 wins already in the league. Yes.
We're talking about their 6th-year guys, a team made up of 6th-year guys and 5th-year guys and highly recruited guys. So, they're a tough game down at their place. We were up, but didn't finish it. Defensively broke down. We've got to get to the foul line. We've got to take care of the basketball, and we've got to guard. And they can score from a variety of ways. Coming off the bench too, they're deep. And again, they've just gotten older than everybody and recruited that way and brought in some guys and went and got the Rice kid was a huge get for them. I was looking at a 6th-year guy from New Mexico State in addition to the ones they already had. So we've got to have a great crowd, which I know we're going to have, and we can't let them down this time. I mean, it's simply put, we have to do our job at home. We've got to defend, we've got to rebound, and we've got to take care of the basketball.
And Rodney Terry's done a pretty good job kind of holding that thing together this year.
Well, yeah, I mean, they've got good players, and they've got veteran guys. I mean, usually, I don't know how you can get older than what they are. They're all seniors. They do have a freshman that a high, top 25 freshman. So again, what this COVID thing has done is the 6th-year guys. It's 6th-year guys that have played a huge amount of minutes in college basketball. It's an amazing deal. Throw that in with the transfer and getting eligible right away. It's made a roster's a whole lot different look.
Yeah, you mentioned Jabari Rice, but you also got Marcus Carr. Both those guys over 100 assists already on the year.
Yeah, it's both 6th-year guys.
Yep.
So they redshirted at the place. 3 schools for Marcus Carr.
Yeah.
He's played with Emmanuel this summer in the team up in Canada. He's had the ball in his hands for a long time, and he's a very physical, athletic, 24-year-old, 25-year-old guard that competes and plays hard every game and can score, but can also get guy shots.
Yeah, Timmy Allen at 6'6", a guy who also can score, leads them in scoring, 17 a game.
Yeah, 5th-year guy, really strong, physical, mid-post guy, and does a lot of things. I mean, he's a 3 but plays like a 5. I mean, does a variety variety of things out there. So versatile, old, and good.
Then you shift gears, and then on Saturday, got to go to Norman to take on Oklahoma, who, by the way, goes on the road, wins at Iowa State. I mean, this league is so difficult week in and week out.
It is, and you just can't have a injury, you can't have an off day, you can't have a bad offensive performance. I mean, you got to be ready in every way, and you're still going to be in the game if you got everything going for you. So it's just what it is, and you get no confidence builders. I mean, it's a great league, and we're fortunate to be a part of it.
How do you, at this point, I know you personally, you kind of work in those game-to-game compartments, but when people start talking about postseason and speculating and things of that nature, do you allow yourself to go there at all?
Well, I mean, it's there, but I don't give it much thought because I know you got to do it. It's no need to speculate. You got to go finish out, and what you do in the next 2 days, the next 2 games, I should say, is going to decide your future. So what's the point of speculating, or what other teams do at some point? So, I mean, it's fun. It's good to be talked about. Everybody in the country is talking about it this time of year. So it's good to see TCU in the conversation again.
And the league, of course, is in the conversation by far and away the best.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great thing to be a part of. It's a challenge, no question about it. But I kind of laugh about it because who would have thought? I don't think when they formed it, and I know when I came here, it just had started to get there, and but we got better, and that changed a lot of things, and now you got 10 really good teams, and it's amazing thing that what it's become, and Brett Yormark, our commissioner, he's like, it's because of location, and maybe we don't get as much. We like to say it, but everybody has their regional bias, and they want to write the article that this league's going to be the best and promote their own. But every year we seem to do it, and it's better to earn it rather than giving it.
You were saying too, though, that just based on the numbers, some people are saying this is the best that the Big 12 has been, and they've been the best league for several years.
And I think just when you say that the best is just what we did in the non-conference, and that's really all you can go by. And it's only 13 games for each team because you can't go by the other ones. Now we'll get some NCAA tournament opportunities, or NIT. Those count too as well. I mean, I always think about the NIT is another indicator because we win it. Texas beats us the one year they win it, so we're playing in the semis. We're the 2 best teams. Like, it just goes show how good it's been when you get teams that go and do well there too.
All right, Wednesday night be a big one. All right,
thanks.
TCU and Texas coming up at 8 o'clock on Wednesday night. Next week we'll have highlights of those 2 games, the Frogs and the Longhorns, and of course TCU on the road at Oklahoma on Saturday. So head coach Jamie Dixon, I'm Brian Estridge. Thanks for joining us this week on State of the Frogs.
Roxo Media House.